Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Sorry, the stream a little bit later than expected, but we're starting off with a lot of cloud cover, a little bit of light rain to kick off the morning. The rain, for the most part, is relatively minimal, only a few scattered showers, but you're definitely dealing with a lot of cloud cover as we kick off your Saturday morning from Kannapolis, Monroe to Dallas to even right here in the Queen City. Now, oftentimes when this happens, the first question is it going to be a bad day to get outside? The answer is no, but of course, whenever it starts off cloudy, it's kind of a bummer when you're trying to get outside early in the day. Essentially, the thing is that's happening right now is the front is working its way down to our south. As it does so, we're still seeing some of that cloud cover, a little bit of rain lingering as that piece of energy kind of lingers nearby. Now, a lot of what you're seeing on satellite is not reaching the ground, but we do have some showers still working their way across the area. Now, if you were in York or Chester County, even about an hour or so ago, we did have some more moderate rainfall, especially in the center parts of the county. Right now, just some light rain, though, for eastern York. I would say northeastern Chester near Richburg, a little bit of light rain in southern Mecklenburg County and into Union and northern Lancaster County. But for the most part, this is pretty isolated for areas along and south of the Charlotte metro area. So kind of the 485 inner loop, mainly along and south. We'll see some of this light rain, I would say maybe for the next hour or so. And then we're really largely dry for the afternoon. More sunshine mixes in with some of that cloud cover as we become partly to mostly cloudy. There is a small limited potential for an isolated shower or storm later on today, especially south. We're seeing some drizzle looks in locusts, so good to know about that, Kenny. Thanks for your report. And then, of course, you can see a little bit of a shower potential returning by later on this afternoon and evening, but most areas do start to dry out overnight. Now, what's interesting about Saturday and Sunday is that Saturday we're seeing earlier rain, but mostly dry later on today, whereas it's essentially the opposite for areas on Sunday. So Sunday is going to kick off largely dry with a few more clouds mixing in, kind of some low cloud cover like what we had today. But most of the showers and storms are going to hold off, especially for the Charlotte metro, I would say until after about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So clouds and sunshine mixing in here and there, but a better shower potential later in the day. Now, these showers will be a little bit heavy at times. I think we could see some more moderate to heavy rainfall, but they will be isolated in nature. So not everyone is going to see them, but some of those showers and storms could linger later on in the day. So kind of a dry middle part of today, early part of tomorrow, and then of course storms will be isolated tomorrow afternoon. So this kind of sums it up. AM clouds, light rain, isolated in the afternoon Saturday, and essentially the opposite tomorrow. The other thing you're going to notice is now that that front is working its way through, we're going to see slightly drier air, so dew points dropping to the 60s and high temperatures only in the mid to upper 80s. Now, you might be thinking, why do we care? Well, the easy answer to why we care is the fact that it has been so dang hot that we're getting a break from some of that heat. In the tropics, got to give an update here, and something we haven't talked about it a lot lately. Dawn happened, but it stayed out to sea, so truthfully, haven't been talking about it much. We do have an area of interest now with a high chance of becoming a tropical depression or named storm over the next week, most likely by about mid next week. 70% chance, again, that is high. Next storm name up on the list is going to be Emily. Now, at this point, it is way too early to know where the storm will go, if it forms, will it encounter drier air, could it encounter some wind shear, all those atmospheric factors. We got a long, long way to track. What is interesting and probably a good thing in terms of model consistency is that most of our forecast models do have the system eventually moving into the Eastern Caribbean and then continuing westward through the Caribbean Sea. The one thing that we really need to keep a close eye on, I think, especially right now, this time of year, is how hot it is in the Atlantic Basin, the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, the Atlantic Ocean, all well above average for this time of year. In fact, we've been talking upper 90s for some of those water temperatures off the coast of Florida. Anytime you have above average heat there in the Atlantic Basin, it gives more kind of fuel for these storms to tap into. And again, Atlantic Basin encompasses the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Atlantic Ocean. Next storm name on the list is Emily. Now, we've talked a lot about hurricane season and the influence of El Nino. Essentially, El Nino typically results in lesser storms. However, that counterbalance of a lot of tropical waves in the warm ocean waters will kind of remain to be seen if we get more storms, if we're near average. Bottom line is, we say it a lot, it only takes one storm to make a bad season. So for your Saturday, cloud cover this morning, some shower activity, but for the most part, we are dry this afternoon. Storms late in the day tomorrow, temperatures mid to upper 80s. I think we could have one more day in the upper 80s on Monday before the 90s return in full force. But this upcoming week, we won't see a lot of 90-degree days where we also have a lot of storm activity. but that means no rain, cooled air to kind of cool us down from some of the above average heat. Next weekend, some long range models indicate we could be into the mid 90s both days. So, I have an opportunity to get out this weekend. I would say go ahead and enjoy it because a lot more heat is on the way. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments. You can email me, send me a message here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning for Wake Up Charlotte weekend starting at 6 o'clock. Oh, Kenny, right before I go, Kenny asked a question. I know, Kenny, if it switches from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, it does get a new name if it switches basins. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.